Hey everybody, Fallout here, and wow, we have a huge update on our hands from Bungie in the TWAB today, outlining the changes in the upcoming 1.1.4 Destiny 2 patch. I think we all know by now that Bungie really wants to pump new life into Destiny 2, and hopefully with the March update they can accomplish that. For me, I know I was reading through the changes, and I was really excited about a lot of them, and I'm gonna go through the TWAB right now with you. We can talk about each individual change, we can talk about what's going to be new, what's going to be different in Destiny 2, and what we can expect to be better, potentially faster, more exciting in PvP. Real quick, I know that lately I put out a video talking about how I was kind of lukewarm on Destiny 2. There's a lot of other fun games out there that I've been playing, and I've been enjoying them, I really have. But a good friend of mine, YouTuber, you probably know him, Cammy Cakes, we've been playing some PvP lately, and between the games with him that I've had a lot of fun in and reading the changes mentioned in this 1.1.4 update, I'm really feeling invigorated lately and excited for the potential and the future of Destiny 2 PvP. So shout out to Cammy, great playing games with him. This TWAB has got me hyped up, let's go through it. Alright, link down below in the comment section for the TWAB if you want to read along with me or at your own pace. I'm gonna go ahead and cut through all the bullshit. If you want to read that opening paragraph stuff, go for it. Let's just get right down to exactly what they're changing in the Crucible with the new Sandbox changes. First two major things that they bring up are the respawn timers and the power ammo. Player respawn timers for quick play modes have been reduced to 2 seconds, and respawn timers for survival have been reduced down to 7 seconds. Revive lockout time in Countdown has been reduced to 7 seconds. Players no longer lose revive tokens on death. Right off the bat, those are some big changes. We have faster respawn times for the majority of the game modes that we play in PvP. Players no longer losing their revive tokens on death is going to be huge for Trials of Osiris. In the current Trials meta, everyone really focuses gameplay around making sure that you're staying alive at all times. Don't get picked, because it's bad enough getting picked in a game of Trials. Now you're outnumbered by the enemy team. But on top of that, if you manage to get the guy revived who died, they no longer have their own revive token. Now, if you manage to get picked off in Trials and then you get brought back to life, you still have your revive tokens. That completely changes the Trials meta. The 2-second respawn timer in quick play, that's gonna be crazy fast. Like, you die and then you're just instantly alive back in the fray. I think that quick play is gonna be, quick play. It's going to be slightly more chaotic, more people on the map at all times. Moving on to power ammo. Power ammo respawn timers were adjusted across the board. Power ammo respawn timers in Iron Banner reduced 50%. Power ammo respawn timers for quick play reduced 30%. Power ammo timers in survival 40% reduction. Power ammo timer reduction for Countdown of 25%. They go on to say that the ammo counter for power ammo has been adjusted to fit those new timers. In almost all cases, weapons either retained the same amount of ammo or they got a buff. Thankfully, that does not apply to swords and rocket launchers, which were brought down. And that makes sense. Swords and rocket launchers being not exactly problematic in their current state, but you can have sword ammo. If you're really good with the sword, you can maintain sword ammo for a long time. And the thought there is that they don't want to have a player literally using nothing but the sword the entire game of PvP, with the frequent power ammo respawning. And the same thing with the rocket launcher. They don't want people using rocket launchers in PvP non-stop. That would be crazy. Possibly the biggest change to power ammo that we've already heard about before, but in case you haven't, enemy players will drop their power ammo when they die, and anybody can pick them up. So overall, what does that mean for power ammo? There's going to be more on the map. There's going to be more opportunities for players to have hero moments, and I think they want to make sure that it's not too crazy. We're looking for the right amount of crazy here in PvP. Really seems like Bungie is trying to do more of a throwback to how things felt in D1. You know, players had more access to weapons like shotguns, fusion rifles, sniper rifles, you know what I mean? So giving more opportunities for players to use weapons like those, while at the same time making sure that players can't abuse power weapons like rocket launchers and swords, because that would be probably too chaotic. Alright, moving on to the next big change. In Trials and Competitive mode, they are going to completely remove the tracker from those PvP game types. The tracker, aka the motion detector, aka your radar. It's gonna be gone, completely gone in competitive and Trials. That is crazy, but my initial thought right now is that I like it. Bear with me on this. I have had so many games of trials, so many, especially in a game type like Countdown. So the other team arms the bomb, and then what do? You know what they do. They sit back in the bomb zone nearby, they play defensive, and they camp, and they play the clock, and they wait for you to come to them. Now, on paper, that is a smart move. Annoying, but smart. But it puts a lot of real intense difficulty on the other team, because when you try to push in to kill them and disarm the bomb, not only can they play defensively on you, but they have the advantage of being able to see you come from every single possible direction by looking at the radar. Same exact thing for survival mode in Trials, now that I think about it. One team gets an advantage in the score, right? They have an advantage in the life count, and there's very little time left on the clock. So what does the team in the lead do? Of course, they're going to retreat, they're going to sit back, they're going to camp, they are going to play the clock, and that's their right to do so, but it's really frustrating for the other team to get in there and make a great play, because all they have to do is camp, hold hands, team shot, and look at the radar. Now, with the radar completely gone, the other team has a much better chance to flex their muscles, get in there, and make an awesome play happen, and turn the tide. Removing radar is going to be something that I think will upset a lot of players initially, but if you give it time, it might be something that grows on you. It is effectively Bungie's attempt at changing PvP in a way that punishes people who play overly defensively. It's Bungie's way of trying to reduce the amount of camping that goes on in both Trials and the competitive playlist. Keeping all of that in mind, Hunter mains out there, listen up for a minute. Do you have a piece of armor in your vault called the Foe Tracer? It's an exotic helmet, and with the removal of radar for both competitive and Trials, you may want to consider taking that helmet out of the vault and dusting it off, because you're probably going to be using it a little bit more. Alright, anyway, scrolling down a little bit further in the TWAB, they bring in Josh Hamrick. He starts talking about movement. All three glides plus catapult and strafe lift have been retuned and buffed to make them faster and more unique. We've already heard that before, that's good, I don't mind hearing it again. He goes on to say that the mobility stat range has been expanded and completely retuned as well. In short, everyone gets faster and the high end is higher. Players' ground speed cap has been increased, allowing for faster total movement speed regardless of how you may get there. I'm gonna keep reading because this all involves speed, but Arcstrider, Sentinel, and Striker all move faster and at the same speed as one another while in their supers. That is all fantastic news. They are making PvP faster movement-wise. We've all been asking for that. Mobility, depending on who you talk to, is borderline a throwaway stat. Again, depending on who you talk to. I know that mobility can give you a better strafe, which is nice, but I'm glad that they're giving us more on the plate with mobility. That being said, I don't think that Titan Skating from D1 is going to fully return, but that being said, it still looks like we're going to get some great movement options. Really looking forward to the day where I can pick my Hunter, crank up the mobility, and feel really good about that decision with absolutely no reservations. This part right here, I really like. Arcstrider, as a whole, is performing well in PvP, but mostly due to its neutral game. Well, duh. We've made the following changes in an effort to get the super to be a more competitive option. Thank God. By the way, I am calling it right now. Probably you're going to hear this from multiple people, but the Arcstrider after update 1.1.4 is going to be very, very good. If you read the changes that they're making here to the Arcstrider Super and you combine that with the fact that they are now making player movement faster and they're making mobility actually mean something more as a stat, you are going to have very fast Hunters and very deadly Arcstriders. Right now, the Arcstrider has a pretty respectable neutral game, a very long-reaching melee, very good grenade options, and a very good jump. And I haven't even mentioned the updates that happen further down in the TWAB about faster recharging abilities. I'm just telling you right now, keep your eyes peeled, the Arcstrider is going to be very good in PvP. Moving on, the previous shoulder charge changes are being reverted. Good, allowing shoulder charge to be used as a movement mode once again. There's really nothing else to say about that. It was a goofy change. We were having fun with it. Titans were enjoying using shoulder charge as a movement option. Daddy Bungie took it away, and now it's coming back. That's all there is to say about that. So why don't we move on to Dawnblade? Reduced cost for throwing swords, allowing for 1 additional throw. Nice. Increased super duration extension gained from the perk Everlasting Fire, and removed all in-air accuracy penalties while Swift Strike is active. That is really good. As we all know, Destiny being relatively infamous for hitting players with a in-air accuracy penalty. No matter what gun they're using, you are way more accurate when shooting it on the ground than you are in the air. Apparently, if I am in fact reading this correctly, when Swift Strike is active on the Dawnblade, your in-air accuracy penalty is going goodbye. That is really enticing, and I am probably going to be playing a Dawnblade first when the new patch drops. Expect a lot of Dawnblades to be shooting at you in the air. Reduced the Icarus Dash cooldown, more good news, and increased the grenade and melee energy heat rises will give you per every kill. Again, it's really apparent that with all the changes to the top tree on the Dawnblade, Bungie really wants you to play this class in the air. Quick recap for the Dawnblade. If you're in the air and you get a kill, Heat Rises will give you even more grenade and melee energy. You can dash in the air thanks to Icarus Dash, which has a reduced cooldown so you can dash more often, and Swift Strike gives you 0 penalty to your in-air weapon accuracy. If you really like the idea of combat in the air, you need to pick up the Dawnblade. Just saying, with all those crazy mobility changes coming down the pipe, I really hope that all of you Warlocks held on to your Transversive Steps boots. And also, the Wings of Sacred Dawn might actually be worth a look now for the Dawnblade. Okay, moving on to possibly my favorite part. We all knew that this was coming. Invisibility on dodge and smoke updates. Invisibility on dodge no longer breaks aim assist or projectile tracking in PvP. Dodging will still break both aim assist and projectile tracking, but only for the duration of the actual dodge, not when you're invisible. As someone who has been doing a lot of trials carries on console lately, I can say this from my heart of hearts. F Nightstalkers. And that's coming from a guy who has lately been playing a Nightstalker. It's too good on console. If you're playing PC only, you have no idea about what kind of fresh hell you've been missing out on the PvP scene lately on console. It is filled with Nightstalkers wearing the Gemini pants, and they are just dodging left and right to take advantage of the invisibility, which gives them no aim assist backlash. Meaning, like, if they dodge and they go invisible, you can't shoot them on console. Well, you can, but it's very hard because no aim assist on them. Not anymore, and I'm damn glad about that because holy crap did they have it coming. Oh, and aside from that, increased the duration of invisibility on a dodge by 1 second, increased the duration of smoke bomb invisibility by 1 second. Yay, I guess, but TLDR, f Nightstalkers. Kidding. Only sort of, kind of kidding. I'm really looking forward to a day when a Nightstalker can dodge and I can still shoot at them on console with the aim assist that the players should have. No more camo abuse. Okay, what else we got? We have supers recharge faster for everyone now. They will recharge 1 minute and 40 seconds faster, a cooldown reduction of 25%. Good stuff. Again, this is another move by Bungie to try and make PvP more fast-paced, less boring, relying on just non-stop primary engagements, hopefully more action-packed. Mods that reduce grenade, melee, and class ability cooldowns have been buffed to allow for up to 2 times faster cooldowns. Okay, so keeping all of that information in mind, we have more supers and we have more class abilities coming onto the table. So you know what I see being a really good option in the near future? The Sentinel. Now, I'm not trying to say that it's not a good option now, because it really is. In fact, I think the Sentinel is probably one of the better classes in PvP to be playing right now. It's only going to get better with update 1.1.4. The Titan Shield is a great roaming super powerful. The bubble, although it is weak, it does have very good use potential, and the neutral game of the Sentinel is great. You have a potential shield that you can earn on a melee kill, and you have the suppressor grenade, and with all the abilities and the supers running around, the suppressor grenade is going to be like gold in your hands. You are going to be fighting people with more abilities, and you're going to throw out that suppressor grenade, and you're going to shut some poor Arcstrider schmuck right out of his super, and your teammate is going to be like, Holy crap, that is the sexiest play I've ever seen in my life. Where do you live? I want to date you and possibly do dirty things to you. All right, enough of that. Why don't we move on to the weapon changes? Pulse rifles. We got changes for pulse rifles. Skipping the PvE stuff, obviously. Increased rate of fire for adaptive and high impact pulses. By the way, as I'm reading the changes for all the weapons, why don't you go down to the comment section. I will also link the massive breakdown spreadsheet by our good friend Mercules, and that will list out every archetype weapon. So if I say something like, they are changing high impact pulses, you can be like, what's a high impact pulse? Well, it's all listed right there in the massive breakdown document. A lot of changes on the table right now for pulse rifles, and Bungie's goal here, which I totally agree with, is they want to make pulse rifles more usable in PvP. Right now, very few people are using them. They're using auto rifles primarily on console. On PC, they're using hand cannons and SMGs. Very little pulse rifle usage across the entire PvP community, I would say. Between the changes that they're listing here, I would keep an eye out for adaptive and rapid fire pulse rifles the most. They already have a pretty respectable time to kill wise if you're shooting an enemy in the body, and with these changes, it just looks like the time to kill body shot wise is going to get way better. So yeah, keep an eye on the pulse rifle changes. I think that they're really going to become very usable in the near future. Okay, scout rifles. We have increased base damage for high impact scouts. Those are going to be scout rifles like the Dream, the Guiding Sight, the Haunted Earth, the Frontier Justice, etc. The ones that do the 150 RPM archetype with an impact of 67. Good change. Those scout rifles are not being used a ton. It's kind of like a, why would I use those things? Hopefully those guns become a little bit more usable in the current meta. Hand cannons. Okay, good stuff here. We have increased precision multiplier for precision hand cannons. Okay, again, the precision hand cannons, those are the West of Sunfall, a Cold Sweat, Nature of the Beast. Okay, those are the hand cannons that are getting a better headshot multiplier. The damage on other hand cannons will not change, but all other hand cannons are getting other updates. They are getting increased hip fire accuracy on console and increased ADS accuracy on console. So primarily the hand cannon changes are only going to affect console, not really going to affect PC players unless you use one of those 180 rate of fire hand cannons that I mentioned earlier. Not a lot of people do. Kinda wish they had done more changes to hand cannons on the PC side of things, but I can understand why they didn't. Hopefully with all the changes as a whole, PvP will be faster. I know a lot of people were really hoping for more changes to hand cannons, particularly damage-wise maybe, myself included, but hopefully again with all the changes that they've made, it'll all fall into place together. We'll keep an eye on that. If the game doesn't still feel where it should be after the 1.1.4 update, then come back, talk to me, and we'll start campaigning for the hand cannon changes. We'll do it together. Sidearms, increased hipfire accuracy, increased ADS accuracy, increased inventory size, increased minimum range. That one's really big, and added an ADS movement bonus. I like it. I think sidearms, aside from the 3 burst ones, have been completely left in the dust in D2. It's almost, there's like no reason to pick them up at all. So hopefully this will change that. SMG changes, increased the optics to 1.3 times zoom. Hopefully this isn't that confusing. Okay, the base zoom of SMG scopes to this point has been 1.25. They are increasing that to 1.3. Now, the zoom factor of your SMG is affected by the base number, which again, right now is going to become 1.3, and then it also is affected by what scope you have on that SMG. I'm gonna hit you with some quick math, okay? If you're wondering, for an example, how much your zoom is going to be affected by the new change, particularly, let's say, with the Antiope, because that's a very popular SMG. If you have the Antiope, you have the SC hollow scope, all right? That is going to be just a hair under what the current Uriel's Gift zoom factor is right now. Quick math. Okay, the current Uriel's Gift zoom factor is 2.25, and if my math is correct on the upcoming changes to the SMG scope, the new Antiope with a hollow sight is going to be 2.21, okay? So just a shade under where the Uriel's Gift is right now. So the bottom line is, if you have an SMG, they are increasing the base zoom factor by a little bit. I think some people might be panicked by that. I'm not really one of those people. I think that no matter what, the Antiope is going to be a very deadly gun, even if you give it more zoom. I mean, it's going to be deadly no matter what. What are you going to do? All right, linear fusion rifle. We have increased precision multiplier and increased aim assist and reduced flinch multiplier. All great things. I have to be completely honest. I almost never use the linear fusion rifle. I've borderline completely forgotten about them, so I'm glad that they are bringing some changes to the table on this gun. Inspire me, Bungie. Convince me to pick up a linear fusion rifle. You gotta do a lot of convincing to tell me to put down either the Legend of Acreus or the hand-in-hand. Convince me, Bungie. Convince me. Okay, shotgun. Increased inventory size. Good. Increased aim assist for Suros precision shotguns. What are those, you might ask? Well, those are the slug shotguns, my friends. The unification, the good bone structure, and the Ganora's axe, those are going to have increased aim assist, which is kind of a good thing because those guns are very inconsistent. Keep an eye on those weapons. They could be crazy good on console in the very near future. Sniper rifle changes. Increased the precision multiplier, increased aim assist, increased inventory size, all good things across the board. Grenade launcher, increased blast radius. Sure, great. Assault rifles, decreased range and aim assist stats for precision autos. And they specifically call out the Uriel's Gift, as well they should. The base damage is not changed, but they are cutting back the range and the aim assist. Thank God. There is no reason that an auto rifle should be able to compete range-wise on paper with a scout rifle. That should not happen. So very good change right there. Expect a decline in the future in the use of Uriel's Gift. Okay, moving on to changes being made to specific weapon perks. Again, I will be skipping over the PvE changes. You can read those at your own pace. One of the ones I wanted to call out right away, Rampage. Increased duration. That is going to be a big change for PvP. Don't know how long the increased duration is going to be, but two guns you need to look out for right now that are going to be way better due to the change in Rampage are the Midnight Coup and the Pleiades Corrector Scout Rifle. Again, that is the Raid Hand Cannon and the Future War Cult Scout Rifle. Again, specifically, those two guns are going to go up in value because of the change to the Rampage perk. So make sure you have those laying around because you will be using them. Other changes are there. They don't really grab me the way I was kind of hoping. You know, Dragonfly, increased damage, increased radius. Whoopee. I mean, when it goes off and it helps you, that'll be great. I don't think it's going to be one of those perks that's going to help you a lot. Grave Robber is giving more ammo to the magazine. Sure, why not? Timed Payload, which is kind of that weird delayed explosive round perk on the Future War Cult hand cannon. It's going to be giving more explosive damage, meaning that gun will be more effective at range. Okay, sure, why not? And that, my friends, is pretty much the TWAB in a nutshell. They did mention that the mod rework for the armor system is being pushed back, but I'm totally okay with that. I would much rather them take their time, make it really good, make it really worthwhile before they push it out to the community. Okay, thanks everybody. I'm really sorry this vid is way longer than my normal video. Believe it or not, I did try to keep it relatively concise. But there was a lot to talk about. I think all in all though, I am really excited for these changes. I'm actually very hype to go back into PvP at the end of March for the 1.1.4 update. I think everything is going to be faster. I think it's going to be more action-packed. I don't know if it's going to be enough to quote, bring back the entire community at large to what Destiny was at its biggest, but I think this is a huge step in the right direction, and I really hope it brings back a ton of people to PvP. Anyway, I want to hear from you guys. Please let me know down in the comment section how you feel about these changes from Bungie. Are these going to be enough for you to come back and pick up the game if you haven't been playing lately? Are you hyped about these changes? Are you not hyped about these changes? Please let me know. Anyway, I'll cut this video short. Kappa, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Hope you learned something. See you next time.